Dan, transfer that damn car off the goddamn lot.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I need to make a quick call to Los Angeles, California.
I can't believe you don't even have a quarter to call me.
I'm just a bum with blue blood and knows no shame. I ain't got a dime, but at least I got my name. A pops from the Bronx and mom's from Chattanooga. I was more than they bargained, I was accidental junior, but the blood of kings flows from both sides. Ithaka and Edinburgh, but all of them had died. My kin lost their crowns years ago. Trees lose their leaves in order to grow. Know where you come from, don't matter none. It's what you won't do and what you haven't done.
Once a bum, always a bum.
I don't know where I'm going to. Ain't got no idea what I'm gonna do. I got no purpose in life. But when should I agree? When should I fight? I wander around in search of nothing, but never knowing what the future will bring. Walking down the road, the goal in my mind, to know who will of me, or what I will find. Well, have I lost my life, or am I just blind? Have I wasted my youth, am I just killing time? Walking down the road with no shoes on my feet, knowing I must learn what no teacher can teach.
You're a bum. You're a fucking bum.
I'm just a bum with blue blood, who knows no shame. I ain't got a dime, but at least I got my name.
Look at you. You don't have a fucking job. Get a life. You're just a bum. You're a bum. You're a bum.
Never looked within, cause I've always looked out. Never knew nothing anyway, I had nothing to doubt. But don't examine me like a frog in dissection. I ain't exactly the picture of perfection, just being me for what it is or what it ain't. I may not be the devil, but I'm far from a saint. Don't try to help others, I haven't learned to help myself. Yeah, I'm flat broke, but thanks to Zeus, got my health. There were no guarantees in life, but you can't say I didn't try to try. Now I'm right back where I started from. But lost, tired, and busted, at least I'm a raw bum. It's okay to be broke when you were 19 or 20. Don't worry so much when living in the land of plenty. But when you're 3-0 and still ain't got no dough, it's time to reassess the situation before you live your whole life in frustration. When I was young, I thought I just needed love. But when your stomach's empty, food don't fall from above. It's better to be wise and rich, but better yet to be well, not sick. I was a prisoner, I made myself free, but now I'm fucked up and I'm a prisoner again. All fucked up with nowhere to go. I don't own a jacket and it's getting kinda cold.
Now look at you. He's thrown it all away.
I'm just a bum with blue blood, who knows no shame. I ain't got a dime, but at least I got my name.
I didn't tell you to drop out of school. I mean, you're a grown man. It's time you wake up and smell the coffee, you know? Get a life. You're just a fucking bum.
They say knowledge is truth, and truth is knowledge. But I didn't learn nothing truthful in my 3 weeks at college. Thought I didn't need no glasses to see. Thought I didn't need no knowledge to be free. I exchanged hardship for understanding. I still don't understand, I'm headed for a crash landing. The more shit I know, the more I know I don't know shit. Been walking most of my life, don't know what it's said. But don't tell me what I am, or what I will become, cause I know what I am.
Get a life.
I'm a royal bum. I don't know where I'm going to, ain't got no idea what I'm gonna do. I got no purpose in life, but when should I agree, when should I fight? I wander around in search of nothing, we're never knowing what the future will bring. I'm walking down the road, the goal in my mind, to know who will I meet, or what I will find. Well, have I lost my life, or am I just blind? Have I wasted my youth, am I just killing time? Walking down the road with no shoes on my feet, knowing I must learn what no teacher can teach.
Once a bum, always a bum.
I'm just a bum with blue blood, who knows no shame. I ain't got a dime, but at least I got my name. I'm just a bum with blue blood.
I'd prefer it if you just didn't call me anymore. Bye.
Drop, carve off the bottom. Snap back, keep the butterfinger pocket. Slide on into the liquid cave. And if you got luck, you may just escape. Gotta get the speed. Gotta get the speed. Take the line drive, gotta take the high line. To get the speed that you need. Through the section, a sling, slang, a rubber band to leave a liquid trail. Leave a liquid van. Substance-free exile. We'll glide 50 yards to glide a mile. Give me freight train rides, keep me grinding hollow left. Give me rocks, give me beat, give me steep peaks. Give me smalls, give me talls, give them to me all except for the closeout. Cause when it's closed out, I don't paddle out. I'd rather kick it short side. Eating ice creams, eating cherry pie. Maybe if I'm feeling inspired, I'll sculpt, describe, or even change a tire. I got a lot of loves in this life, but one is extra special, then she makes me feel right. She's real curvy and she's always wet. She never talks back or messes with my head. And when I'm feeling that need of need, she gives it up to me, she gives me speed. Out of the sun, a place to rest from a world far gone. The happiness comes to those who wait. But don't take your own, for yours you will not get. Dividing the goods, not like Christmas at all. More like a garage sale of the dead. More certificates than time for not. More how you doing's than you ever get. And more I'm sorry's than you'd ever want. Under a tree, and out of the sun, a place to rest from a world far gone. Under a tree, and out of the sun, a place to rest from a world far gone. Maybe better off is the way to put it. Free from the binds that had hold down the giant. Under a tree, and having some fun, away from the hate of a world far gone. Under a tree, and out of the sun, a place to rest from a world far gone. While sleeping sad, with a dome full of confusion, a honeybee named Wanamisi gave me a new solution. Flew straight into my ear, she said into my brain, she said,
cover up, let's get going. Our magic carpet is waiting.
What do you mean, where can we go? Cause as usual, I'm flat broke.
We go to a place called Eden by the Sea, where life is sweet and everyone is free, where all is love and everyone is free. So come on, meu irmão curvurão, you are now raving sharp, and get yourself up yourself from out of the dark. Sharpen up your fins, shake out your wings. A big smile is all you need to bring. Don't need no money, don't need no style. Don't worry about a thing, you can go a long while. Can get there by a boat, can get there by a plane, except with a private plane of your brain. Don't need no belief in Adam and Eve, but believe in the garden, that's your key. You can do anything, or you can do nothing. There you will never feel cold, there you will never feel old.
Give me sweet life, let me be free. Give me sweet life, let me be free.
Real life is sweet, and everyone is free. Where all is love, and everyone is free.
Give me sweet life, let me be free. Wanamisi, what are we waiting for? Already convinced me, no need to say more. Off we went on a piece of blue rug. Whacked out raven shark, sister bee-bug. Out to space, another galaxy. Destination known, Eden by the sea. I call her a place, but she's more like a lover. Sometimes a sister, sometimes a mother. She's accidental poetry, and she's the one can make me happy. When we first met, almost took my life. Almost drowned me while I tried to ride. But no, I wasn't mad at her. That's when I began to love her. A strong woman is good to find. Love at first fall with my heart and my mind. Up on a cliff inside of a cave, or in her seat inside of a wave, in the shade of a mango tree, or hanging in the garden with Wanamisi. Give me sweet life, let me be free. When my eyes opened up, I was in my old bed, alone in my room, no eating in sight. Could I have lived so much in one night? My heart hurt, tears rained from my eyes. Been 100 years since the raven shark cried. Now all on my mind's how will I get back? I know we didn't exist, I know she's fact. Someone to me, see wherever you may be. Please take me back to Eden by the sea. Give me sweet life, let me be free. Give me sweet life, let me be free.
Real life is sweet, and everyone is free. Where all is love, and everyone is free. Real life is sweet, and everyone is free. Where all is love, and everyone is free. Real life is sweet, and everyone is free. Where all is love, and everyone is free. Real life is sweet, and everyone is free.
Give me sweet life, let me be free. Give me sweet life, let me be free.
Real life is sweet, and everyone is free. Where all is love, and everyone is free. Real life is sweet, and everyone is free.
It started from my life's first break, when my own mother said, kid, you're a mistake. And it didn't get better when I got older. My dreams got dimmer, my future got cold. In kindergarten on my first day of school, in front of Jenny Parks, I made myself a fool. I guess a girl got us if I could hold her hand. She shot me in the eye with a loaded rubber band. In first grade, fell in love with my teacher, Miss Mead. Stayed after school to say, well, teach me to read. Yes, of course, she said, patted me on the head. What does this say? I asked, pointing to my book. When she leaned down to help, I couldn't help but look. Big, round, beautiful grade school teacher breast. I got a slap across my face, I failed my next test. As you can see, it ain't no breeze being me. A few years later, at the age of 10, was fishing with my pops and he pushed me in. Down I sank to the bottom of the sea, when a whale swam by and pissed on me. Came back to land as a ghost to see my dog, but he growled when he saw me, cause now I made a fall. Then walked down the hall to see my brother Roy. Little punk was in my room already playing with my toys. Left the house, went down the street to see my little brother, little sweet Marguerite. But she was watching TV with a grin on her face. I said hello, but when she saw me, she said, you're a disgrace. What's the idea of coming around trying to scare? Well, don't you belong with a harp somewhere? I'm just a 10-year-old ghost with a bad case of blues. I don't like being dead, cause I got nothing to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost with a bad case of blues. I don't like being dead, cause I got nothing to do. I don't like being dead. I don't like being dead. So enough of earth, no, they didn't want me none. So I began to fly to the heavens high above. But when I got there, they wouldn't let me in. They said this isn't the place for little boys who sin. So down I went through the depths to hell. But they said you're too young, here you cannot dwell. Where to now, I don't know what to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost with a bad case of blues. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost with a bad case of blues. I don't like being dead, cause I got nothing to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost with a bad case of blues. I don't like being dead, cause I got nothing to do. I don't like being dead. I don't like being dead. I walked down to Alentejo, nowhere else to go, and saw a pet cemetery on a cliff above the shore. Dead birds and dead cats and a crying old lady were crying her eyes out over a dead canary. Now I have no one in this world to be my friend. Why go on living? Never be happy again. Don't cry, said lady, I'm all alone too. I'll be your friend and I promise never to say boo. And so I was adopted by Donna Constance Sound. Now I'm her ghost grandson, little Corvadon. Together we reside at a house in a tree. We bake and eat lots of cookies and we drink lots of tea. She teaches me things, she tells me stories. Now life after death is fun cause she adores me. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost, no longer feeling blue. I don't mind being dead, now I got a lot to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost, no longer feeling blue. I don't mind being dead, now I got a lot to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost, no longer feeling blue. I don't mind being dead, now I got a lot to do. I'm just a 10-year-old ghost, no longer feeling blue. I don't mind being dead, now I got a lot to do. I don't mind being dead. I I don't mind being dead. 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 Alone without thoughts at my old blue desk. Alone on Easter Sunday, my brokenness still a pest. Am I my own man, or just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Whatever will be. Believe that, yo, a sucker, you may never see the key. Preachers, teachers, abusers of religion, with everyone claiming to see the only vision. Prophecies always sprouting up like weeds. I don't believe in none. The truth grows like a tree. But when I ask the others, well, where am I headed? They tell me ask the planets, ask the stars. What is the fate of another sucker mind? Because of the tilt of Mars? Well, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But what about the flowers in the color of paint? Do you become what you think about most? To be or not to be, or to be an almost? Do the gods help those who help themselves? Or should I store my juice upon a mental shelf? Am I my own man, or just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Came out of my apartment at the street door. Look back up to my window on the second floor. Got a plant, a box of flowers, some purple, some blue. Went into my pretty picture, white butterfly flew. I bounced along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? So I followed that little butterfly of wisdom down the dusty streets of the city of Lisbon. Somewhere down near Cantamon, she stopped for the moment on the hood of a car. Then she landed on an average street sign, and for that brief second, the sign was like a shrine. Then the butterfly landed on a small girl, still young enough to wonder at the world. She landed on a wooden fence. Put on the fence, it appeared she landed only to rest. She landed on the head of a statue, but then flew off into the forest of Monsanto. Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, or just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, or just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Through the pine trees, the way the winds blow, alongside of a crow to a quiet meadow. Finally she landed on a lonely yellow flower, then suddenly took off with a fresh burst of power. What a long way, I thought, just to get a little snack. But she hadn't just been searching for the flower she lacked. She'd been blessing the hood with an awkward grace. Well, then she blessed my nose by landing on my face, giving back to the world that gave a sweet life, even if its sole purpose was to be a lovely sight. Off she flew above the trees to the sky, and I could swear I heard a little voice wish me goodbye. I walked all the way back home wearing a grin, finally knowing life means nothing and everything. Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own board away for fate to bring? Bouncing along she went, it seemed without direction. Bouncing along she went, she was the vision of perfection. Am I my own man, just a puppet on a string? Do I turn my own the rider who will wait 4 hours for an outsider. We made a trip in the middle of the winter. We rode a place that left my stick a splinter. The kind of walls that block out the sky. Underwater, out of breath, I saw my life flash by. Seabra got axed by a Big Mac set. It was bigger than a house, it was bigger than the debt. Held down for about an hour. He took the brunt of the Big Mac's power, or most would have split after a fall like that. But like a rubber bath, Seabra swung back, straight back to the peak. Just like a junkie, he's a big wave freak. City society calls him a stranger. Seabra can't live without the danger. But I just call Seabra mad. With balls of steel, yes, the rider is bad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. What was it with him where we broke the barrier? A gloomy 5 meters to most would be scary. But Seabra on his featherlight foil, he paddled straight out, he sat on the boil. And when he dug his hands in deep, slowly but slowly he began to creep. Speeded up to a glide, dropped down vertical. Seabra was inside of a big fat cave, but not of stone. This cave spun and was chased by foam. Blasted out with his mug still dry. And that's when Seabra began to fly. 3 more sections and to the shoulder. Fat round house around the boulder. City society calls him a stranger. Seabra can't live without the danger. But I just call Seabra mad. With balls of steel, yes, the rider is bad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. There was a day at a place we called Bruce's. Lots of big holes, the reef was crucial. Well, it was getting night, time for us to exit, but the current was a river, no, it just wouldn't let us. Seabra me. It was the 3 of us with bone-crushing pounders. Was our heads gonna bust? One way to find out what Seabra's thinking. Dropped into a pit without even blinking. Well, getting broken bones was better than drowning. Got raked over rocks, received quite a pounding. But mad Seabra, he made it to land with no broken bones and no broken head. For Lent and me, we followed Singer's cycle out of death's pit with only damage to our egos. Indirect light, he saved our skins. We lived to tell the story and sin more sins. City society calls him a stranger. Seabra can't live without the danger. But I just call Seabra mad. With balls of steel, yes, the rider is bad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. City society calls him a stranger. Seabra can't live without the danger. But I just call Seabra mad. With balls of steel, yes, the rider is bad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Seabra is mad. Little brother, we're thinking about you. Well, over here, on this side of the pool, but what am I to think, what am I to do? But hearing bad news about my little brother. They're not my blood brother, but he's still my little brother. 10 calls a week from the concern. Learning many things that I didn't want to learn. The story isn't over, no, it ain't new. But every time I hear it, it leaves a cloud of doom. And this time it's worse. I love the life at stake. So brother, quit the pen before it's too late. Stay strong, little brother, 'cause you are loved, little brother. As the new kid around, little bro, you had it all. But brains, motivation, and calls from Keely Small. And you could slice a wall with a blade of glass, with a smooth new style that was loose and fast. At the river mouth, back in winter '85, where you and TC, you was the only ones to ride. And wall for wall, you matched his best. Clean your string, then you put her to the test. Rider of the year, but never saw you in no mag or in a contest heat with the color on your back. Don't throw the gift away with the light of a match. Don't throw the gift away with the stick of a pen.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Fresh out of VHS, started working on the features. Junior editor with the Alpine speakers. You was bold, had the humor with the girls on you. You had the ride, the pad, IQ 182. But somewhere down the line you got off your course by that old dark, ugly, evil force. But stay strong, little brother. All sorts of poisons flowing through your veins. Some say you're crazy, they say you ain't the same. But bro, I've known you for at least 15 years. And though I share many of their fears, I know deep in your soul you're still the queen. And I'll always be there for you if you need a hand or wing.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother. Stay strong.
Tall's Red Room and the 6 of Clubs. It's the places, it's the people, little brother, it's the drugs. So come clean, start yourself off new. Drop the dope in the bottle and the dope and bottle crew. Maybe the end of the earth is upon us, but maybe it ain't, and we won't turn to dust. If that's the case, wanna live a long time, little brother, won't you join us? Gotta make up your mind.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother. You are love, little brother.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, little brother.
I hate you, you hate me. We hate each other, on that we agree. Hate or love, love or hate, hate will prevail. I think it's our fate.
I hate you and you hate me.
We hate each other, on that we agree.
Hate or love, love or hate.
Hate will prevail, I think it's our fate.
Well, I'm sorry once again to dig up the past, but we started up the engine much too fast.
Always best to warm it up a little first.
But we was thirsty and needed to quench our thirst. You were like a tornado, I was like a typhoon.
So very close, yet as far as the moon.
Should've seen trouble from a mile away, cause you said something to me on a second date that made me question me, myself, and I. Like, where does my piece fit into life's pie? I doubted my purpose, I doubted my vision, even doubted my glide, which is my life's religion. Or why'd you wanna make me feel like that? Why'd you wanna make me feel like a rat?
Did I really say the things that you said that I said? Did I really do all the things which you dread? If I did, you should have left, cause you should have fled.
But neither of us liked sleeping in an empty crib. Was it love, or was it love sickness?
Was it love, or was it all weakness? You love me and you hate me too. I need you and I need to be free of you.
I took you home to my planet, a place called LA. We argued all the time cause all you did was complain. You didn't like the traffic, you didn't like the didn't like the drink. You hate the sight of blood, but I didn't write that book. LA City did. Some people smile while others get dead. I hate you and you hate me.
We hate each other, on that we agree.
Well, hate or love, love or hate.
Hate will prevail, I think it's our fate.
To Mexico, no you couldn't enjoy. Yet another trip we should have tried to avoid. Well, too much dust and you don't like burritos.
Too many chickens and too many mosquitoes.
Like water to ass, no we just don't mix. And some things in life you just can't fix.
Was it love or was it love sickness?
Was it love or was it our weakness? You are the realist, I'm the idealist.
The Capricorn, the Cancer, the Hammer, the Basher.
Why'd you wanna make me feel like a crumb? Why'd you wanna make me feel like a bum? I didn't know the answer, you called me ignorant. I said who cares? Called you arrogant.
Ignorant,
Arrogant,
ignorant,
arrogant,
ignorant,
arrogant.
ignorant.
But baby, ignorance is no sin.
Yes, it is.
It don't determine if you lose or win. So be intelligent, but don't be so cold. Cause a brain ain't worth shit without a heart or a soul.
Was it love or was it love sickness?
Was it love or was it our weakness?
Are we together or are we not? Maybe we should just call the whole thing off.
But we never said it wasn't or that it was. The love and hate kept coming back like rust.
We've been living this way for over a year, and I am tired of the fights and the tears, dear.
Some people just ain't meant to be together. Never nice days, always stormy weather.
At least we agree on something.
About time.
Yeah.
If you weren't so stubborn all the time,
If
we
you
could
weren't
get along
so
more often.
ignorant. Quando é que vais mudar a rapazismo?
You gotta bring that up.
Tu és um idiota.
It's not my fault, I can't afford time.
Uh-huh.
We hate each other.
You gotta bring that up, there's more to life. Book marks and shit.
Hate always, love or hate, hate will prevail. I think it's our fate.
I hate you and you hate me. We hate each other, on that we agree. Hate or love, love or hate. Hate will prevail, I think it's our fate. I hate you and you hate me. We hate each other, on that we agree. We'll hate or love, love or hate. Hate will prevail, I think it's our fate.
I hate you.
I hate you too. Let me introduce myself. My name is CID, I'm the king of Tardy. If I say I'll be there by 8, you never really know when. You'll be lucky if I make it my team. I got a shower, a shade, I put on a tune. If I said 10 a.m, I'll try to make it by noon. I'm the flakiest cat you ever did meet. I just can't seem to get it fast upon my feet. You see, you're 2 hours late, it's early for me. Like to take my time, dress to the T. I'll make you late if you're coming along. So kick back, have a beer and a song. There's a swell in the seat, don't count on me. I can't think of time as I jam down the line. I don't dream about holding your breath. By the time I get out of the water, you'll be starving to death. It's taking me a lifetime to earn this title. Sleeping in for me is extremely vital. If you need to be on time, don't count on me. It ain't for nothing, I'm the king of Tardy. No, it ain't for nothing, I'm the king of Tardy. No, it ain't for nothing, I'm the king of Tardy.
All that Chinaman's face. Let's speed them things up. Vegas, I'm proud of that goddamn Vegas shit. I want this car off the lot by tomorrow morning, and pushing the quarry.
Give him a chance. It's working on all the time.
Oh, shit!
Shit, where can I begin? I was at a nightclub just the other night. The music was okay, but something wasn't right. A bunch of guys dressed up like bunnies. Some thought it was cute. I didn't think it was very funny. Bunnies hopping around, just like Roger the Rabbit. Hope the strange behavior don't become a habit. I prefer rabbits in a cage at the zoo. A man in in-out-night suit, a rabbit stew. A second thought, rabbits are fun to kick with your foot in a boot or with a stick. Sonny the bunny wasn't funny. His little pink nose was looking kinda funny, so I gave Sonny a hanky. But after I kicked him, he became cranky. I said, take that drama for your mommy, your little mama's there, and close your fucking eyes, it ain't polite to stare. Sonny continued to cry in the corner, looking like a little fluffy white funeral mourner. Don't cry, told Sonny, then I gave him some carrots. Soon after that, I fed him to the parrots. No more Sonny the bunny. No more Sonny the bunny. Tricks are for kids, you stupid rabbit. No more Sonny the bunny. 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 For kids, you stupid rabbit.
Hey, turkey ass, close the goddamn door, you little assholes.
With my brother Drew, once we took a trip together, we're down to Alabama, see our crazy cousin Devin.
Tell me, you ever been down to Alabama?
They have a lot of fun, they got great manners.
Our cousin Devin, yo, I wish that you could meet him. He's 6'4" and weighs 100 kilos.
Y'all boys from California, ain't you? Only two things come from California: earthquakes and worms. And I don't feel the ground shaking now.
During the day, sorta normal, no, you'll never doubt. But in the depths of the night, Jackie always sneaks out to jump off bridges 100 feet high into dark rivers. Don't fucking ask us why.
He likes to climb hunts for Left Tower. 500 meters high, it takes him 4 hours.
2 hours up, like a monkey to the top. 2 hours down and chased by the cops.
Some nights he's out on the swamp in a boat, or killing bullfrogs with deadly spear pokes. And by dawn has a boat full of dead frogs. Mid-morning all sold to local restaurants.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
A week in Alabama, a week in Alabama.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
He lives life local 24/7. On the weekend, the real action start. He put a bomb in the mailbox and blew it apart. Then down to a place by the big lake. With his bare hands, he ripped the head off of a snake.
Next was a day Devin had for me. Well, take this stick and hit that high V. What the hell was this? Some strange deranged plot? But what are you fucking crazy mad at that? It piss him off. No fucking shit, genius, that's a whole idea. Hit him and run to the lake before they sting it. We do it all the time, Cali worm. There's no backing out, cause now it's your turn. So I hit it and ran all the way to the water. Dove in head first, but don't know why I bothered. Cause these bees were smart, motherfuckers could swim. Stung me through my clothes, clear through to my skin.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
A week in Alabama, a week in Alabama.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
He lives life local 24/7. That night, Devin promised us a big surprise. Alabama, original guy, never wants to lie. In a 64 Chevy, we drove out to the woods. This will give you Cali worms a taste of my hood.
Parked the truck between a couple of trees. Well, there was other cars, but nobody to be seen. We climbed over a barbed wire fence. Both Drew and mine's head was a feeling with suspense.
With a full moon coming down through the trees' leaves, we walked half a mile next to this creek. Then, up a hill and right in front of our side was the mouth of a cave like 60 feet high.
To the mouth of the monster we went, along a narrow ridge above a man-eating pit. We're guided by the light of Drew's watch, which for 45 minutes we was glad that he had brought.
Through a lot of tunnels, a mile into the mountain,
just to be killed, of that we were certain.
Come on, Kelly Worms. Nothing to be afraid of but fear itself.
We began to hear laughter and shouts. What the hell was this all about? Then we were there in a giant round room, 90 feet high by 100 feet of doom, with people all around a big fire, and above 1,000 bad vampires. There was a little black dog barking up at the bats. I had to laugh, cause a funny sight was that.
Others gathered round the moonshine, still filling up their jars with a liquid that could kill. When Devin gave us jars of the smelly stinking ash, drink up Cali worms and enjoy it while it lasts.
Do we have a choice? No, it wasn't a suggestion, but would we survive? Now that was the question. Down it went, like an acid it burned. And Devin asked us, well, how is it, Cali worms?
Smooth we lied, by the way, what is it?
Gasoline, he laughed just like an evil wizard. Gasoline, alcohol, and crushed lightning bugs. We call the lightning Jews, here have another slug.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
A week in Alabama, a week in Alabama.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
He lives life local 24/7.
An angelic girl with dark skin and red hair sat all alone at the edge of the lair. The room began to tilt to one side. I was surprised that the girl did not slide. I closed my eyes to try to stop the tilt. I opened them again, it was at a standstill. The angel girl now chased the dog black, who was running around and barking up at the back. The room began spinning and I closed my eyes again. When I opened them up and looked around the den, the girl now cradled the dog like a baby. Well, they was rubbing faces like the tramp and the lady. The dog began to lick her face. She licked it back, she tightened her embrace, and the next thing I knew they was swapping spit. A Beauty and the Beast freaky French red kiss. Then the dog ran off to chase the bats. The zombies still gathered it around the vat. And I said to Miss Angel Redhead, I see that you made a brand new friend. What do you mean? She said, I mean the dog. That wasn't no dog, she said that was God. Well, that's when I must have passed out into a deep sleep, into a dream cloud. When I woke up, well, everyone was asleep. Even the bats were without a peep. And I was sharing a blanket with both the girl who had been kissing the dog and the dog she'd been kissing. Drew and Devin weren't around, my Kim was missing. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it on Earth? Time for a headache, not a pleasant birth. So I grabbed the guy's dick from out of the fire, looked back once more at the angel I'd admired, and followed the footprints on the cave's floor for 45 minutes to the cave's door, and down into the afternoon sun, wondering whether or not I'd had fun. Nuclear rays down upon my dome, they beat my forehead, feeling like a cracked wheat. And there by the creek was my brother Drew, cousin Devin nearby sipping on a brew. It was the idea leaving me with all of them freaks, while y'all out here relaxing by the creek.
Shut up and show some respect, you little insect, before I put a hook in your head and start catching fish with you.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin. A week in Alabama, a week in Alabama, a week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
He lives a lot local, 24/7.
A week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin. A week in Alabama, a week in Alabama, a week in Alabama with our crazy cousin Devin.
He lives life local 24/7.
A week in Alabama.
You guys leaving?
Yeah, we'll be back.
Take some coffee, will you? You're one hell of a hangover.
Black?
Yeah, sure.
What began as an embryonic seed of desire to have a better life for himself grew into a small tree of desire to have a better life for himself, which grew into a big tree of desire, which grew into an entire forest of what? Well, by this time, he'd forgotten why he'd wanted the money in the first place. He became obsessed with the getting itself. Greed, a common disease, suffered by billions of beings around this cosmos. Once the momentum of greed was in full swing, it was impossible to stop. Like a drug, he needed more and more and more. It became a way of life. It became a way of life. The day the stock market crashed, he lost all of it, everything. After being in a state of shock for several weeks, he finally came to his senses. It's not the end of the world. I still have my family and my friends, but they didn't know him anymore. Well, I still have the gifts of the gods, the flowers, the trees, and the sea, but they had long since turned their backs on the one who had turned his back on them. He tried to read a book to take his mind off things, but discovered that he'd forgotten how to read. So he called and met with a prostitute. Discovered that he'd even forgotten how to. He went home to his soon-to-be repossessed $20 million mansion. I laid down on the soon-to-be repossessed $200,000 gold bathroom floor. He began to hear voices. Actually, it was the memory of a conversation that he had with his father when he was 9. Son, beware of the seed of greed. It's better to be wise than rich.
Why?
He'd asked, but his father didn't answer.
You big stupid.
At the age of 13, he started his own landscaping business. Service with a smile was his slogan, but he never smiled. At the age of 19, he sold the business to a competitor, began a record company, producing some of the most meaningless music in history. But he didn't care. Meaningless music sold, and sold it did. By the time he was 26 years old, he was one of the richest young men in America. So it was a shock to most people when Brass Cutter Records suddenly went bankrupt. All the acts had conspired together and signed with new record companies. Companies that let them keep at least some of the money they made. Put his remaining assets into bonds and stocks. Hope for the best. Receive the worst. His maid found him dead on the bathroom floor. He immediately called the 911. 2 days later, after an extensive examination of the corpse, the coroners filed their report. Cause of death? Sadness. Nobody attended the funeral. Been gone 4 months from my neighborhood. I rolled back in, but things was less than good. My roommate Ned been rolling on the cane train, selling and abusing, not using his brain. Now my home is under investigation. I got no solution to this situation but to leave it alone and walk away. To find a new space, for this I'm gonna pay. The money I don't got none of, but got to deal with it, got to rise above. My news I got was something more to depress me. Madeline don't even wanna see me. No girl, no home, no money, what's this life come to? These aren't the dreams that I'd wish to come true. Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. Nobody sees me, feels me, or hears me. Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. Seems so far, and from this distance not so bad. But years ago I left to find the promised land. I had to get out, so I found a way out. So why am I right back where I started? Naive, ignorant, and unguarded, against the poisons of my very own mind. I'm sure about the past since the start of time. About the future, I can barely even comment. The rise and fall of political dominance. But still it seems today it all comes down to the buck. You're a robber, you're a crook, or you were born with luck. Escape to become a creator. So why have I become a critic? It wasn't my intention, but how could I have predicted it? Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. Nobody sees me, feels me, or hears me. Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. Here I am in my spiritual graveyard. But I don't know if I'll ever find my Ithaca. 'Cause here I am in my spiritual graveyard. September 27th, 1994. 8 years of bad luck, no end to see. I didn't have no hope, only had one dream of a memory I couldn't remember. So far in the past, seemed like forever. I was alive but didn't have no life. Endless days after sleepless nights. Found a place but needed a friend. Needed repair but had no tools to mend. Was late in August, the summer of confusion. Sleepwalking down my street needing a transfusion. I barefooted talking to myself. My neighbors wondering about my mental health. The street was full but I was still alone. Strangers made me feel I got no home. Then something took my eyes up off of the ground. Well, everyone was frozen, I couldn't hear a sound. I believe in love at sight, but love before I saw. The sin alone made my frozen heart thaw. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up, better this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Well, then she appeared flown like a cloud. I seen it before, that there was no doubt. Scrolls of brown hair with the goddess's complexion. Hazel eyes, smile, resurrection. I'm Ursula Of Ithaka, remember me? We met in Cape Melissa, 1200 BC. Wrapped her arms around me, we meet again at last. Been searching for you for 20 decades past. Through Asia, Africa, the fifth dimension. She felt so warm and human for an astral projection. Right here on my very own street, a waste of love began to feel complete. She was like the fresh summer rain. Amnesia for 20 lives worth of pain. We soaked each other with 2,700 tears for missing each other for 2,700 years. There on the bike while the street stones made love all night while the others stayed. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. We lived in the village of Melissa. She was the princess and I was a fisher. And every night smelling the fish blood. Dreamt of her love as I slept in the mud. Some nights she snuck out, she came to me. My human blanket cured of my disease. In the cave of nymphs swore a love forever. To death and beyond, never to be severed. But death was not far away from me. She cried 10 years when I died at sea. And forced to marry a rich tycoon. Committed suicide on the honeymoon. There on the bike while the street stones. We made love all night while the others stayed froze. Is she the dream or the illusion? Living deep inside the depths of my seclusion. I don't know, just know what we share. A love eternal, my walking, living prayer. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Ursula Of Ithaka, the town your head. Rescue me up out of this dark land. Landed like a fly. She left like a fly. The apartment across the hall had been vacant for 6 months, and suddenly, without warning, became occupied. She was from the east of Canada, absolutely beautiful brains too. And I told myself at first sight, she's trouble. She was, more than I could possibly imagine. Real fireball motor mouth type, but I really liked that at first. I like talkative people. third night she was there, we walked down to the New Beverly Cinema, which was actually an old revival house for a showing of Streetcar Named Desire. And from then on, we began calling each other Stella and Stanley. Whenever I'd come back from a job or something, I'd yell up to a window, Stella! More frequently than not, it'd be her that was coming home from the job and yelling, Stanley! She was working her little round ass off, making about 10 grand a week as a human prop for fashion catalogs. Didn't even have a bank account when she first moved in. What do you do with the money, I asked her.
Well, I bought some CDs yesterday and I got some clothes, I got this bag.
The girl spent money like an arrow, and even with her income was always borrowing from me for food and rent. One of her biggest expenses was taxi fares. She didn't own a car, refused to take the bus. Back in those days, LA didn't have a subway. Up to $500 a day for taxis, to and from jobs, to and from stores, to and from the movies, to and from the beach. The beach? Well, who the fuck takes a cab from Hollywood to the beach? Rent a car, I told her, but she didn't have a license. She eventually took all of my advice, opened a bank account, stopped buying so many CDs, started buying used clothes, and bought 2 cars, still didn't have a license. A big Ford Bronco, which she almost never drove, and an old convertible Mustang. She'd yell as she drove down the alley. She'd yell as she pulled into the driveway. Well, then we'd make healthy, disgusting, tasting things to eat, drink cheap wine, and talk almost all night on my big blue bed. But always in the middle of some deep conversation, she'd spring to her feet and say sisterly,
Good night, Stan.
Good night, Stella, I'd say. Out of my door she went and into her own across the hall, where she would start making phone calls. Sometimes I'd hear her talk on the phone for 2 or 3 hours back home to Canada, to her gingerbread family, to her friends, and to her old boyfriend. See, I was her only friend in LA, and the phone was one form of communication she could not live without. The phone bill was easily 4 times more than her rent. But I love this little girl, Miss 19-year-old motor-mouth know-it-all. She loved me too, but was afraid to admit it. The simple reason I didn't look good on paper. No regular job, skin too dark, used too many fuck words, unsuccessful as a photographer, unsuccessful as an artist. But whatever would a gingerbread family back home think, and her friends, and her old boyfriend. After all, this whole charade of a life she lived was strictly for them, just for effect. Many weeks in advance, we planned to go skydiving together. But on the day we'd reserved at the skydiving school, we got up at 4:30 a.m. and drove all the way out to Paris, California, just to discover the wind was too strong for any planes to go up. She was absolutely heartbroken and didn't say a word the whole drive back. What's wrong, Stella?
I don't know.
The problem wasn't that her long-anticipated first jump had been postponed. It was that she'd already told everybody in Toronto that she'd be jumping today. And no doubt they'd be calling that night for a documentary.
What'll I tell them?
That you're dead?
It's not funny, Stan.
One night not long after, we'd gone to a big Hollywood Christmas party and gotten completely wasted on mixed tropical drinks. Took a cab home and talked for a while on my bed. She put her arms around me, stabbed her tongue into my mouth, and climbed up on top of me. She pulled out my dick through the zipper, slipped it under her miniskirt and around her panties, into her unbelievably hot and tight wetness. She wrote it, once up, once down. must have remembered her loving family, friends, and old boyfriend back home in Toronto.
Can't do this.
She said, rolling off of me, standing up and pulling down her skirt simultaneously.
I can't do this.
She stormed out of my door and into her own. She called somebody in Canada, began telling them how exciting the party had been. Eddie Murphy was there, I overheard her say. He wasn't, but there was a black guy tending bar. Maybe they all looked the same to her. The best and worst fuck of my life. The best, because I loved that little bitch and had waited 5 months for the tip. The worst, because of its 4-second duration. Transformation of a girl who talked, laughed, and ate with me, and cared about me, into one who only said,
Hi, Stan. Bye, Stan. Hi, Stan. Bye, Stan. Hi, Stan. Bye, Stan. Hi, Stan. Bye, Stan.
Next weekend, I went up to Ventura County. When I got home Sunday night, she was gone. No note, nothing. Her apartment was unlocked, vacant, no furniture, nothing. Everything was gone except for the cars, which she left across the street in the post office parking lot. The Bronco was stolen the third night. The Mustang was towed by the city about a week after that. In like a fly, and out like a fly. Hidden like a fly, out like a fly. She'd mixed up my head. She'd driven a fork right through my fucking heart. She nibbled and chewed all the self-confidence from my bones. Still had the nerve to call 4 months later from Paris, France.
It's spring here.
She said on my answering machine.
Sun is shining. Flowers have blossomed. I miss you, Stan. Miss you, Stan. Miss you, Stan.
I miss you too, Stellafly, 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 Stellafly.